Hello everyone, it's me Clayton. I just finished watching The Way of the House Husband, which is based off the popular comedy manga of the same name, and is currently a 5-episode anime on Netflix. Now when it comes to absurdist comedy, it definitely does get exemplified in a lot of Japanese properties that use the absurdity of certain scenarios for the sake of comedic effect, that have worked out quite well for several series in the past, particularly the Yakuza series, which I happen to be a fan of. So the idea of a Yakuza leaving his criminal background to become a house husband and being deliciously extra about everything that he does, it does sound like it has a lot of potential for comedy. And despite the limited animation, which was made very infamous by the anime's trailer, the comedy and the voice acting are so good that you will forgive the limited animation, or at least I did. So let's get to the story of the series, shall we? The story, for what the short-form comedy of the series entails, details the Immortal Tatsu, who is a former Yakuza who was quite an infamous tough guy in his time. However, when he manages to get married and become a house husband, he decides to apply his skills at being a criminal to everyday life, such as, doing fitness, going grocery shopping, all that mundane stuff. And he does it in such an extra way to the point where you'll end up laughing at everything that he does because he delivers the same kind of energy to that as he does to, say, taking out a mob of criminals or dumping a body as a Yakuza. The juxtaposition of the comedy and his overly serious demeanor about basically everything is where most of the comedy is derived from the series. And I definitely do think it works here. Similar to how it worked for Kazuma Kiryu or Ichiban Kasuga from the Yakuza series, Immortal Tatsu definitely fills that niche when it comes to that overly serious, never-breaking kayfabe kind of humor. And other side characters, such as his wife Miku and a young up-and-coming Yakuza who looks up to him named Masa, they definitely add to the humor as well as they also point out the absurdist nature of his personality, while also having some funny characterizations of their own. Heck, even Miku and Tatsu's cat gets a few segments. And the Gin's Walk segments do happen to have their own style of humor that works out pretty well. So yeah, the humor and voice acting, especially Kenjiro Suda as Tatsu, are definitely the highlights of the series. But a lot of people will complain about the limited animation, and especially considering it feels more like a slideshow or a PowerPoint presentation rather than animation. But this shouldn't come as any surprise, considering it's from the same director as Backstreet Girls, which had a similar type of limited animation to make it look more like a motion manga. And honestly, I think this animation is a bit better than the one in that series. The animation's definitely not what you're going to come for, but I don't think it's absolutely awful, at least not for the sake of the comedy that the series is going for. It's not exactly a series that's demanding excellent visuals anyways. But if you do prefer more motion with this, there is a live-action adaptation that would work better for that. But, as a whole, The Way of the House Husband is pretty short, only 5 episodes, and each one being around 16 to 18 minutes long, so you'll probably finish it in about an afternoon or so, but the comedy and voice acting are so good that I do recommend you give it a watch anyways, if only because the absurdist humor works so well. That's why I'm going to give The Way of the House Husband a 7.5 out of 10. See you next time.